You're listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. With your hosts, Anthony R. Destiny, Joe Ferrani, and Jerry Kenna. Interviewing entrepreneurs, business operators, and investors. This episode of Between Two Bridges is sponsored by Paymark Payroll. Payday is the most important day to your most important people, and payday is made easy at www.payyourpeople.com.
All right, we're here with another episode of Between Two Bridges. I'm your co-host, Anthony R. Destiny.
Joe Ferrani.
And Jerry Kenna.
And then our two guests tonight.
Gina Cofer.
And Greg Scampone, again.
And
our first repeat guest.
Yeah. Run it back. He's the bodyguard for Gina.
Talking to,
I'm here for moral support.
Local business owners. I guess you're the furthest one away,
Yeah.
but original Oakmont native,
Yes.
right? How'd you end up in Montana?
My husband lived out there, and then...
Well, how'd you meet him?
That's a weird story.
Well, that's why we're here.
Was it like Bumble?
No, no. I've never been on a dating app.
Cowboys for Yinzers.
Farmers only.
So it's not online dating, but kind of, because I slid into his DMs, but it's because we both had Airstream trailers. Do you know what an Airstream trailer is?
Yeah, I remember your Airstream
So we
trailer.
both had Airstream trailers, and I was kind of renovating mine, but really I just demoed the whole thing and destroyed it. And he had an Airstream, and he was renovating his to live in it full time. And he must have we connected on Instagram because there's hashtag Airstream hashtags, and I was on all these Airstream forums looking up how to tear down the walls and where to buy the replacements and all these things. And somehow we started following each other on Instagram because of the Airstream renovations. And then
I forgot about your Airstream. I remember when you were selling it.
Yeah.
Did you sell it?
Yes, it's a very sore subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sold it?
It's really not a sore subject, but yeah, I sold it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, remember it was parked in the backyard, and then it was parked at Conco for forever.
I thought it was still a Conco.
No, I mean, I sold it. I had full intentions on living in it full time, but I had no idea what I was doing. And then I met John, and then there goes the Airstream.
He already had one
that was finished, so I didn't even have to.
It was easier.
I'm just going to move into his.
So we started talking about Airstream renovations on social media, and then
You're just hey, nice Airstream.
Yeah. Well, really, I was like, hey, what did you do? Where did you buy your walls? Because I've been on all these forums and I can't find anything about it, and it didn't hurt that he was hot too. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, but and then he answered. He mansplained the whole thing, and he'll argue that he didn't. But he was like, aisle 14 at Lowe's, you get FRP boards and this and that. I was like, I have no idea what you just said, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had small talk and, asked where each other were from. And he said he was from Chattanooga, but he was living in Montana. And he said he was in Tennessee. I said, what part of Tennessee? I'm going there next week for a girls trip. And then he said Chattanooga, he was going to be there next week for a wedding. So we were he's like, if you're around, let's get a beer. And then we met up in Tennessee and then got a beer, and then that was it.
That might be one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Going. I mean,
yeah, it was definitely interesting. And then the next time, when we met in Tennessee, I was like, well, see you never. That was our running joke. Because I'm never going to see you again. I live in Pittsburgh. You live in Montana.
Yeah.
And then I ended up out that way. I was moving my cousin out west. And then he was like, why don't you just come up here? But he had been living in the Airstream. And I told my mom and my sister. And I had just gotten out of a shitty relationship. So, anything sounded better than what I was in at that time. So they were like, I was like, yeah, he lives in a trailer. I might go stay with him for a little bit. My
in the
mom
middle
was
of nowhere.
That's the best idea. You should definitely do it. Oh my God.
In the middle of nowhere, no self-service.
Yeah. So my sister was tracking me the whole time I was there, because you know how you can follow people's locations, and she was like, she's in the middle of the woods and she's not answering me. And, like, I think he chopped her body up and she's probably just riding around in the trunk now. And I'm like, no, it was fine. But so then I ended up moving out there because he was already living there. And he was like, would you ever move out here when we got more serious? And I was like, yeah.
So I've had a ton of like cheesy pickup lines and plays on trying to get a girl, but buying an Airstream and beers in Chattanooga was never a plan.
Dude, I think it's like a business plan if you think about it.
A business plan?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Dating app, like RV dating app.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see
Mobile
it.
date.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be one dating app I would be all about.
I mean, what's the typical demographic for people with trailers, though?
Her and
just my type.
It was her and him. So remember we had the doctors with borders. Remember when Christy was talking about
Yes.
So maybe you could have like dating with borders, like, but everybody's on house arrest. Like I can only meet you at the state line.
All right, well, I'll bring my house with me.
Yeah, house arrest for your husband would be unlimited.
Yeah, right. Yeah, how does that work?
I don't know.
You don't know, Jerry?
No, I've
You've
never
been on there?
Never been on house
He's a
arrest.
tax advisor, not a lawyer.
It's funny though because I always call Jerry for any questions I have, tax or non-tax related. I think Jerry probably.
Do you still live in the Airstream?
No, he sold it. He's very.
Yeah, he definitely used it to get the girl. And
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't need this anymore.
He lived in it full time, like in a cold, rough Montana winter where it was like in the negatives. That one of the first few times, like my mom and his mom came out to visit, the high was like -9, and I remember staying in there. I had like 10 pair of socks on, and it was still freezing no matter what. Yeah, he's like, it's really not that bad. I'm like, this is freaking cold.
he lived in hunting camp.
Yeah,
he was like,
but no, he sold it so we could renovate. So he bought a house before I moved out there because whenever he asked me to move out there, we had planned on living in the Airstream, but I have 2 dogs, and I think he was probably like, "This is actually a terrible idea. Like, why did I even ask her to come out here?" So then he bought a house and then sold the Airstream so we could fix up the little cabin that's on the property and run it as an Airbnb.
So your Airbnb is on your property.
Mm-hmm. It's like 50 yards from the house.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it's great because it's easy. Like we run it, and I do all the cleaning and stuff. And so it's like super easy to go back and forth and flip it the same day, but it's also like you have people up in your shit like all the time.
Do people ever just like walk over to your house and be like, hey?
No, I mean John is the personable one. Like he'll sit there, he'll wave and talk, and I'm like walking into the house, like trying not to be seen, so that I don't have to have a conversation.
Fucking city slickers living in my neighborhood.
Yeah, but we have some guests that have come back. Like John's like best buddies with one of them now, and he goes down to Texas to visit him and hunts with him. And he's actually staying there. We have it shut down in the wintertime, but he's coming to stay. We just open it up for him because he comes out there for work all the time. So we'll just open it because he doesn't care if there's running water or not. We can't have it operating in the winter because the pipes freeze and it's a whole thing.
Wow.
So he's coming, but they met through Airbnb. So John's really good at meeting people in all these weird little ways. Obviously, trailers and Airbnbs.
I have a good friend in Texas. I met my wife in Pittsburgh in Tennessee, and
yeah.
Free soul,
connections.
free spirit.
John's the talkative guy. He's the nice person in the relationship.
I think that free spirit comes from outside of Pittsburgh. I think like when you're from Pittsburgh, you kind of like you're like you got your roots, you got your people.
Yeah.
You know, you're comfortable.
Like, fuck everybody else.
Yeah, you're like everybody's an outsider. Fuck them. But like when you're outside of Pittsburgh, you're like, I'd like to go visit there someday. But like fuck those people.
Yeah.
Do you have a terrible towel in Montana?
No, I don't. Ooh. Well, actually, I do think I have my grandma's terrible towel. There's a lot of stuff that got the cut before moving out there because the moving truck was way more expensive than I anticipated.
Well, plus the Airstream only fits so much stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, and our house is only 700 square feet, so there's not much room for anything.
Yeah, but the views are probably perfect.
Oh yeah, they're incredible. The views it'd be hard to leave.
So could you make a cowboy hat out of a terrible towel?
We might be able to. With enough shellac, we could probably make it work.
All right. You heard it here first. I'm commissioning A terrible foul.
You get it.
Cowboy hat.
Let's tee that up, I guess. So what was your first job growing up?
First job growing up, like not counting a lemonade stand.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't count.
Like my real job, I started at Conco, my family's business, for $5 an hour, I think it was, and I was like,
"Come on, you're not that old." It was $5.35.
No, like, I think it was like they were like, "We can get away with paying." I mean, I was probably I was probably like 15, and they were like, "Yeah, $5 an hour is enough."
Friends and family, $5 an hour.
Yeah.
That's your dad's business, or he started that?
My grandpa started it with his last $500.
Was it?
Right.
It's George Saxon,
George
right?
Saxon, yeah. So he started it with his last $500. Him and one of his buddies. I don't want to butcher the name. I think it might have been. Actually, I don't know. Anyway, so he started it kind of like on a wing and a prayer, and it ended up being successful. But I remember like hearing stories how they would gather all the kids and they'd go down and they'd build the cleaners. And they'd be like, nobody's leaving this house. Nobody can go play until you build this box of cleaners. So that's how they grew up. But that was my first job for $5.
So you built the tube, the injector cleaners. Yeah.
So the cleaners that go through the power plant. Like I'm gonna buy
condenser tube.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
there you go.
And so that was my first job at Conco, and then I was back and forth there a bunch of times, and then bartending was prevalent in my career.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw you were bartending at the lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I felt like I never really knew what I wanted to do, so I always kind of just every time I was in a job, which was either Conco or bartending, like my earlier years of my life, I was always like also scheming, like how can I start a gourmet grilled cheese food truck. And then I would like go home at lunchtime and cook the office like a bunch of grilled cheeses and it like just come up with these heinous ideas. And I'm like always just like I need to do something different. Like I want to do something different. I want to do something for myself, but never really.
That's probably why you're sitting here tonight.
Yeah.
Because there's always something burning in an entrepreneur that wants to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You had the training thing though, right? That was
I did.
Was that your own company or was that like a hobby?
It was I wanted it to be my company, but like it was my cousin and I had started like a personal training business and kind of like boot camp style. And so we started that, can't remember what year, maybe like 2018 or 2019. That was also when I was working at Conco, like as an adult, not just like doing the $5 an hour building cleaners. I was like in the office doing a bunch of different
You like missed it by like a year. Like if you'd been able to stick it out for another year during COVID, it would have boomed for you. Because like that's when like all those guys like Goggins and everybody started coming up with the like, who's gonna row the boats? And you could have just been lifting tires and screaming. You'd have been insta famous.
Exactly. But yeah, I did personal training boot camp classes, and during COVID is actually whenever I had like my best time with it because we did like these boot camps outside and I did like a hell week, which is like we just did an hour a day and just like hardcore like flipping tires and sandbags and
tires.
all kinds of shit like that. And that was fun. So that lasted for a little while. And then I moved to Montana and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do here.
Can't even find a tire that big in Montana.
No. Oh, they're big
wagon wheels.
Big tires. Yeah.
There's some big tires out there, I'm sure.
Earth movers.
Yeah, big ass tires. But I do have a tire in Montana.
Can't fit a tire in there.
Did you bring your tire with you?
I thought about it, but it didn't make the cut either.
It wasn't going to fit into the Airstream.
It wasn't going to.
Did to buy a new tire?
Yeah. I think John traded it for like something. I don't know. He bought the guy behind the hill from us has a.
Is it John Dutton? Did you buy the ranch? What did you pay? Let's get that out of the way. What did you pay for the Dutton Ranch?
Yeah, the Dutton Ranch. But
I think I texted you like after you had moved there and you were there, and I'm like, did Yellowstone make you move there? And you were like, I never even watched that show. And I'm like,
I didn't watch it.
Do you still?
I have finally caved and watched it, and then I binge watched like all 5 or 5.5 or 4.5 seasons or however many there are now. And I binge watched all of that, but that I had no idea. Like everybody had always talked about it.
Yeah, that's why everybody moved to Montana.
Yeah. I mean, there was a big boom in Montana from that show, and I think that's why our hat company, I mean, amongst other things, but I think that's why a lot of people were trying to buy cowboy hats. So we got in like right at the right
Yeah,
time.
it's perfect.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
That show was incredible. I mean, there's another half a season.
Just waiting to be
I know.
released.
Yeah.
But now I forget what happened in the first half of the season, so I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
gotta rewatch
rewatch
it.
it.
We've talked about this, but my take of it all was like a lot of guys wanted to be cowboys, and like they wanted to move to Montana, and I was like, I just want the fucking helicopter. Like that's all I want. Like I don't need a horse if I have a helicopter. Let's be honest.
Right. You
You
don't.
can just hop in a helicopter and cruise.
So do you have a helicopter?
New age
No.
cowboy.
Do you have a horse?
No. We
You
talked
ever
about horses,
rode a
but we're
horse?
too irresponsible for
Okay.
things like that right now.
Yeah, horses are a lot of work. Like a lot of work.
Yeah.
My
and-
sister-in-law has horses in Texas, and it is like all consuming.
Yeah.
Like, and you think about like when you're like sitting down to do a budget for yourself, they have to budget for those horses.
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
got to budget
it's
for
an
like,
obligation.
the hay and the
Yeah.
shoes
And the vet bills
Yeah.
and like my brother-in-law breaks horses. Like he's
Oh, really?
he's a real deal cowboy.
That's
and
cool.
like he's the guy at the Pittsburgh airport with a cowboy hat on, like just living his life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's I think a helicopter technician. So glad
Does
to
he
have him
have
in
a
the family. Does not have a helicopter, but he breaks horses. And I'm like, well, if I can buy a helicopter now, I know somebody to work on them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can he
we're
get
good.
you a deal?
Yeah, give me a deal. Yeah, they lived like your kind of life, like where they just
Yeah.
went out, like they were in. They went to Hawaii. They lived in Hawaii,
That's awesome.
and he was a mechanic for like the helicopter tours, I guess.
That's really cool.
So,
And he still lives out there or no?
they live in Texas now.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's.
they look to move here, but you can't buy the land here
Mm-mm.
to have the horses here
Yeah.
because like land here is expensive as shit.
It's expensive. Everything's expensive.
It's cheaper in Texas.
Yeah, because there's I guess more flat land.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen like videos on Instagram of like people like houses for like 400,000 in Texas. Like,
A palace.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like insane.
But you will spend $9,000 in gas to go to Walmart every year.
Yeah.
in Texas.
Like yeah, because it's like like even like Virginia, like you can drive an hour and 15
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
to get to a grocery store.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
Like I get
Virginia's
pissed.
spread
I have a
out.
gas
Way more
station
spread out.
like 11 minutes from my house, not even. And
That's
if I
far.
run out of milk, I'm like, fuck.
I have to go all the
Yeah.
way.
I
To
gotta
the
go
gas
all the way to
station.
fucking Jack's to get milk. This is horseshit. I'm buying a cow.
That's how it is. Same thing in Montana though. Like you don't have the convenience of everything. I mean, we actually live in a place that's relatively convenient because we're 15 minutes, or I'd say 10 minutes or 7 if you're flying. But everybody gets mad at you if you drive fast on the gravel roads. But the grocery store is like right down the hill. But if you forget something, you're like, oh fuck, now I have to go all the way down the gravel road to get back to Albertsons. But
oh, we saw John Dutton in Montana.
oh yeah, like
Yeah,
Like the actual
Kevin
John.
Costner.
Kevin
Yeah,
That
Oh,
was
okay.
so
Yeah.
yeah, this is crazy.
Called him John.
It was nuts, dude. We were
Kevin
at her
Costner,
wedding,
bro.
We were at her wedding, right? And like her, who called your mom?
I think it was my cousin.
Yeah, and
My
she
mom's
was like,
cousin.
Kevin Costner's at the old saloon, and her mom's like, we're going. I'm like, we can't just go.
Like, we
You
were
know
still
what I
at
mean?
dinner.
You
like,
leave
we
the
just-
wedding.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
oh, no, it was,
Say I do. We gotta go.
it was the day after. It was the day after or
okay.
something like that.
Listen, John Dutton's at the saloon.
Yeah,
His
like,
wedding's
dude, we walk into
canceled.
this place, this old saloon, and it has like the saloon doors.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about, like old
Yeah.
country or whatever, Western movies. We like walk in, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, he's not here. This is bullshit. And I like turn around to walk back near the door, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude, there's Kevin Costner. Like, and he was just sitting there. I was like, it was wild.
What was he drinking?
No, it was like a diner.
Just saying.
It's I mean, it's
It's like a diner / bar.
It's it's like a divey bar, but like it's popular because
Yeah,
it's
her dad
just-
got a picture.
Those
Yeah,
are the
my dad was
her dad is Kevin Costner. Bro.
Dude,
That's
they
all
look
it was.
exactly alike. They look-
Dude, I know.
Here's the weird thing. I thought he was going to be like, you know how everyone in Hollywood's like 5'7", 5'8"? He's not.
Tall.
He was as tall as Greg, yeah. Like, I was shocked by that. I just feel like they're all small. But
Did you go talk to him?
no,
Or everybody
I
live
should have,
long?
because when I was in the hospital, I watched Yellowstone so much.
See, I wouldn't have been able to pick him out because I didn't watch it yet.
Really?
So, yeah.
You
so
didn't know Kevin? You don't know Kevin Costner?
I mean, I'm
He's in
like I
everything.
live under
Yeah,
a
he's
rock.
fucking everything.
I'm sheltered.
He was on the Muppets. I guarantee goddamn to you.
Dances with Wolves? Come on.
Right.
Robin Hood. That was like the one. That was like one of the best Robin Hoods ever.
I think that is
It might be the best one. Yeah.
What was
That's
that
one of my
terrible
favorite.
movie you made me watch?
A lot of them.
Gangs of New York or something.
Gangs of New York?
Yeah.
That's
Oh
cool.
my God. We
a
were
good
watching
movie.
Gangs
I,
of
like,
New York.
won't
She was
take-
like, this movie sucks.
I won't take a.
What?
Yeah, but you felt like you were in it.
I did.
No,
I was like, I'm Bill the Butcher. Like, this is good. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't even understand what I was watching, and now I won't take a
She,
movie
like, fell
recommendation.
asleep.
yeah, dude, it was shit. Her and Natalie were like, this movie sucks. And I was like, what is going like, I'm like, no, like, this is a classic.
Yeah, that's crazy. A-list celebrities though are different. Like when we were in Key West recently, we flew back, and then I followed this page like around Key West, and Kim Crawford was there and like Tent Dancing. And I'm like, oh, dude, fuck. But, like that could have been Cordell Stewart and Ben Roethlisberger, and I would have been like, ah, shit, I missed him. But like Kim Crawford, dude, like
Wait, who's Kim Crawford?
she's like a superstar model.
I got nothing. Cindy Crawford?
Say that's it.
Oh.
Ah!
Kim Crawford's
Kim
a wine.
Kardashian's mom.
Kim Crawford is a wine.
Oh, that's it. I knew it sounded. Let me see. Let me look it up. Let
Does
me
your
make
wife
sure.
drink Craig Crawford wine? Is that what?
No, that is at Sheets, bro.
He has Franny Red.
Dude, I make my own wine, bro.
So, so you land in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Not much of a plan, I would assume.
Zero plan.
Okay.
I had sold my house, and I was like, all right.
Did you make some money?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I was like, 'cause I bought it for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And then it was like in the middle of the house boom. So
Nice.
I was like, sweet. I was going to hold on to it forever because I hoard things and anything that's
What year is this? Let's date it a little bit.
2021
Okay.
When you bought it or when you
when
sold
I
it?
sold it. I bought it in 2012. Yeah, it was the
Okay.
year Poppy died. So 2012. And they were selling it for like 165. Am I allowed to talk numbers on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were selling it for like 165, and I was like, how about like 80? 80? I was 22. I was like, I was 21, fresh out of college, and I was like, because I was going through the numbers in my head, I was like, it doesn't make sense to rent because I feel like I'm dumping like $1,000 into something that won't ever be mine, and like, how does that make sense? And I told my dad, I was like, I think because I was living at his house at the time, and I was like, I think I want to buy a house. He was like, oh, kid's gonna get out of my house, like. I'm on it.
I got you.
So every day he was like going on walks with the dogs, and then he found a little tiny house right on Pennsylvania Avenue. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I found the perfect house for you. Yeah. And I went and looked at it, and it was a complete dump. And it had pink carpet. It had green carpet in the bathroom, pink carpet in the kitchen.
I remember that house.
Yeah.
We used to cut the grass there before you bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shithole.
And that was probably the last time it was ever cut, because when I lived there, I barely cut it. And everybody was like, you got to.
I think me and Annie T came and cut it one time for you because it was fucked.
Well, because I think at one point I rented it out for like a couple months, and then like I was like, oh, I forgot I had to like hire somebody to cut the grass because I don't live here anymore. So that's probably when you guys did it.
Yeah, you bought that house, right?
Yeah. So 2012 is when I bought it, and so my dad was like, I found the perfect house for you. And then I went up and I was like, oh, it's a shithole. I love it. Like, how do I buy it now? And I had been saving money. I was bartending because I was fresh out of college, not sure what I wanted to do. I was bartending, save a bunch of cash for a tattoo. I was like, I'm going to get this like big badass tattoo. So I had a bunch of cash in my sock drawer. And then my dad, once he showed me that house, I was like, okay, I think I can do like, if I can do a mortgage for $500 a month, like I can do it. So he's like, all right, well, you got to offer like $80,000. So I offered $80,000, and they were like 90. And I was like, too high, 85. And then they took it. So I was like, well, shit, now I have to buy it. Yeah. And then we were sitting down at the closing. Like, my parents came with me because I had no credit, no trace of any money. So they had to co-sign with me. And but like I paid for everything myself, and I was like really proud of it. And I didn't get the tattoo. I bought the house instead.
Now you can get a tattoo of the house.
Now I can, yeah. So I remember sitting there, and the mortgage people, I don't know what they're called, but they were sitting around the table, and they were like going over all the numbers and making you sign all the documents. And I remember them saying like, all right, so your monthly payments will be $686. And I remember looking at my parents like, I said 500, like 686. How am I ever going to afford that? Yeah. So then like I wrote it down on my hand, and I was like, you got to figure out how to pay this every month. And then I just, everything's just hustle. You got to hustle until you make it. And then so I ended up buying it and figuring out how to pay it, and now I'm like, what? I would kill for a $686 a month mortgage.
And plus, what'd you sell it for, if you don't mind me asking?
I sold it for $220 or something like that. So that was like I paid off some debts. Like I paid off my truck and whatever other debts I had.
You had a truck.
Yeah.
You did always a little Montana living in Oakmont.
You did all the work in the house, though, right?
Yeah, and it shows.
It was nice.
It shows. My towel work. Ask John. My husband's like a finish worker. Like he finishes out like towel.
You were Pittsburgh finishing. Yeah. It's all different now.
I was a DIYer, you know. I saw it on Pinterest. And, yeah, right. So I sold it before I left, and I was like, all right, this is. You get like a little chunk of this, and that's what you can live off of for the next year. You're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do. Like I didn't want to bartend again. I wanted to get out of that lifestyle and just like figure out something else. So I was like, all right, just you got 1 year. If you fall on your face, you gotta figure out like a big girl job. Like go work in an office or something. Yeah. And then
go make tube cleaners.
Right.
They were probably paying minimum wage. It was like $9 at that point.
Yeah. So my husband, he's super creative and weird and comes up with weird ideas like I do, and he had this idea of making hats. It really started because he like wanted his own hat. He wanted to buy his own hat. He was wearing like a shitty little wool hat that he found at a store, but he wanted a nice hat, and the nice hats are made of beaver and
so he started obsessing over it.
Yes, and that's what he does. He obsesses over a lot of things.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So he was like, I want that nice hat. He's like, I can just probably make it. So then that spiraled into buying like a couple little pieces of equipment, like a block and a couple felts. And like he had to figure this all out on his own. And then, so he started making that. And then we were sitting at the house one day and we were like, why don't we just like, people started asking like, hey, like I want a hat. And we were like, why don't we just like make it a business or something?
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, fuck it. Like, let's just dump all our money into like equipment and go out.
He met his match.
Yeah, exactly.
So like he was like
we're like,
he needed you to be reasonable and be like, look, start a hobby.
Correct.
Make a couple
That's
hats.
why we're like
you're
the
like
worst.
Fuck it, sell all the Airstreams. The back 40's gotta go. We're killing 800 beaver and we're making fucking hats.
That's literally what happened. And we were like, I was like
so you took all the house money and poured it into
not all of it. Okay. I took a good chunk of it, and he took a good chunk of whatever savings he had from his house that he sold. Okay. And we're like, all right, like we're doing it, but we had no idea what we were doing. And then we just started making hats and selling hats. And then he was also doing construction on the side, or as his full-time job with his buddy. But like I was still over here, like living off my little nest egg. And then
comes home so tired, and you're like, make another fucking hat.
Yeah, I was like, hats. We have hats.
I need hats.
Yeah. So then, but that's what I say. I say we're like the literal worst combination of two humans that could ever coexist together, because I'm like, he's like, I have a new idea. This is what we're doing. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. This year we were talking about renovating we were going to fix our house up, rent out our main house and our Airbnb, and live in the back of his truck.
Because just build a teepee.
Yeah, teepee. But it's super windy up there. Like that shit would blow away. So we were like, let's just live in the back of the truck for like one summer. We would like make a lot of money on just...
Wait a second.
That's what my dad said too.
He's having a hard time.
How you can live in the back of a truck?
He has a truck topper on it.
Yeah.
Not a camper, but like just the little cab guy.
The guys.
So,
you're gonna go from a 700 square foot house
to even smaller.
To live in the back of the bed of a truck.
Yeah, but like we would shower in between visits. So like say somebody was there for a week and then like,
maximize your potential, right?
Exactly.
We can't shower this week. We have guests.
Yeah, like, you know what? No shower. We can't go out this week. Like just stay low, lay low. But yeah, so we were like, let's figure out how we can make like a lot of money in a little amount of time. So then like our wheels are spinning. I'm like, we could like shower if you hook up the garden hose in the backyard and just put like a little thing on it and like just shower like away like on the backside of the barn. And then he's like, yeah, but like you're gonna have to learn how to shit like in a bucket outside. I was like, no, I need my privacy to shit, so like I'm not doing that.
They have that hitch shitter that goes in the back of the hitch.
What's it? It's called something.
The hitch?
No, it's called something else.
The hitch shitter. Jerry's Googling.
Google it, dude.
I had to ask him, but it's called something.
So when Jerry first told me you were coming on,
This might be the
he
top
said
episode ever, dude.
he said that Gina was going to come in. He was like, about the microphones, can we get 5 guests? We thought it was going to be you and your dad when I first read it, and I guess we wouldn't have got the hit shitter idea out of you.
No, we would have. He already knows. He's like, when are you moving into your truck? I'm like, I don't know. The floors aren't done yet in the main house, the 700 square foot house. But
So are you seriously going to do that?
we'll see
You
where
gonna shit
the wind
bucket?
takes us. But yeah, I like to shit in privacy.
It's
though.
called.
I can imagine.
I don't like.
It's
so
called
like
the bumper dumper.
Thank you. That is what it is.
And they're our new sponsor.
Yeah.
So the guys in my camp, when they started going to camp, that's what they would do. They would put the cap on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And they would put plywood above the wheel wells, so you slept up top, had storage in the bottom. And then they would 4 and 4, and then they would play cards through a hole in the floor. So where there's a will, there's a way. Right?
Right, exactly.
Problem is in Montana, it also freezes.
Right,
So if you
so-
and your husband are in the bed of the truck
Yeah.
and it freezes and you're frozen and the latch won't open,
Yeah.
the bumper dumper not going to help
No
you out.
bueno. Just going
You're
where
going to
you
get real
are.
close real quick.
How do you heat the bed of the truck?
The exhaust.
Honestly, I mean, we can't kill any more brain cells because there's not much going on there. But no, we would just rent out the house just for the summer.
Okay.
Or we would move into the hat shop. So the hat shop, there's it's basically the garage, and then the hat shop is this tiny little 15 by 20 foot building that has a little heat coming into it, and then the garage. So we've talked about if we wanted to rent out the house full time, throughout the winter too, we could live in the shop. But I don't know. I was like, okay, hold on. Not we're getting a little too far ahead of ourselves. We were gung ho. We were let's. I think first we were gonna buy an Airstream to rent out our house just to relive the Airstream dream, and then we realized that we would spend more on an Airstreams were $30,000 now for a cheap
Yeah, that's
one.
why I wanted to buy yours. I was like, it's already gutted.
You missed your opportunity.
We could put it back together.
Yeah,
Sell
shut up.
I didn't plan on living in it.
Oh, well. But now we were out, then I started crunching numbers, and I was like, wait, this is the dumbest idea we've ever had. We're going to spend all this money to move out of our house to live in a trailer
And make $7,200.
No, yeah, literally make nothing, and we'd have to move everything out of our house. So, we backtracked on that, and that's when it started. We were like, let's just live in the truck. It's cheaper. But we didn't.
So you were pretty high maintenance then, huh?
Yeah, very high. Very.
How many of our wives would sleep in
I
the
need
bed
to
of a
step it
truck?
down a notch.
How many
I
of our
don't know.
wives would move into the bed of a truck
Zero,
for a
dude.
song?
I don't know if I said to my wife, we're going to add 4,000 square foot to the house. But
She won't sleep.
I
in a tent.
need you to sleep in the bed of the truck for the next 6 weeks. Her answer would still be fuck you.
Oh, yeah. My wife's real easygoing, real chill.
Yes, yeah.
And if I was like, hey, we have to live in the bed of the truck for a month, she'd be like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
The only way I think it would happen is if shit really hit the fan. I think if I was broke, my wife would be down to.
Yeah, she'd be like, you know what, we'll figure
if she didn't have options,
Yeah.
she'd be like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll stay with this guy I know is okay in the bed of the truck. But if I was like, hey, Tuesday, we're going to drive up to Piney. We go to Spillways. I hear the walleye biting. Sleep in the bed of the truck. She'd be like, yeah, you can go fuck yourself.
There's something to be said, though, about living in a lifestyle where you
Yeah.
can make those decisions because so many people come out of college buried in debt, whether it's student loans or other bullshit that you spend money on, waste money on, and have no money.
Yeah,
They would never have been able to just pick up and move to Montana with no job.
yeah.
What part of Montana?
Southwest Montana, Livingston, Montana.
Okay.
We're near Yellowstone National Park.
A lady that works for me, her sister did something similar. She's a nurse. But I think she's in Theodore, Montana.
I don't know
or
where that.
the
I
door.
still have to put Albertsons.
She said
in
to me
my
one time 5 years ago, I don't recall, but she's an hour and 15-minute drive to work every day.
Damn. But it's you're not in traffic. You're not sitting
No,
in
yeah,
that
you're
bumper to
cruising.
bumper.
You're
and you're
jamming.
probably driving
You
70
got
miles.
Backstreet Boys blaring, you're jamming, but
yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, think about it. There's days where you have to drive, and it takes an hour and 15 minutes just to get downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And
Except
one of
you're
my
sitting.
takeaways was
Yep.
If we go hunting, like when you got a deer, how many deer did you get last year?
Just one.
How many did I get?
0.
0. All right, I'm on the board for 0. But like it's like, yeah, man. Well, we got one, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people in Montana get a deer or an elk, I guess, like it's like fucking let's go, dude. Let's party, because like the grocery store is not as convenient. Like when you go into your grocery store, you don't have endless options.
Right.
It's like what
we
they have
do.
in stock.
I mean, it's the same here now, but like in the more remote places, there's probably, or you have to drive like an hour to get there. Luckily, we live like in rural, but not rural, and it's like right at the bottom of our hill. But like we still have 10 acres, and everybody around us has like 20 acres, and it's like.
But, because you're towards like Yellowstone, so you're more.
We're
It's
like
more,
we're like a little
commercialized.
pocket where there's like houses. I don't really know how to explain it. Everybody's just gonna have to come out.
I guess we'll have to go.
Fuck, we can rent an Airbnb. They'll sleep in a truck. We'll even let them come in and take a shower.
You can rent the house.
You come in and take a shower. We're staying.
Fuck yeah.
John, you come in.
What? You can have a
do your
discount.
thing. Come in early. I like to wake up early. We'll have coffee. Then you go, when the kids wake up, you gotta go back out to the fucking truck.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, we have it is like a party. Like John, he's like super into hunting right now, and he'll give me like a list of all the people to call when he gets a kill, because he might not have service, and it's all the people I call to help him pack it out.
Yeah.
And so like he got, what was it? His buddy got a cow elk the other like couple weeks ago, and he calls him, he's like, hey, you ready? Like, come on in, like we're gonna pack this elk out. And it's just like and I went out on one of the pack outs. I helped them carry the hide out, because I think it was his first Montana elk, and it's like a cool experience. You're all hiking in there to bring out the guts, and
Makes more sense than carrying fucking sandbags up and down the driveway.
Exactly.
On
Like I've been
Pennsylvania
preparing for
Avenue.
this moment my whole life.
It's full circle.
It is. But that was cool. But then, like, you're also terrified. I'm terrified of grizzly, and so my head's like going like this the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Was that
And wolves.
I don't think there's.
Go fight a wolf.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you could fuck a wolf
Right.
up, but like a grizzly, like I'm probably gonna get my ass beat.
Yeah.
And if you watch Yellowstone, you know you can't just kill the motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
Like,
they
they'll
might
end
have a tracking collar. on
Tracking
them.
Yeah.
collars on them.
Sorry, guys.
You're good. But so what's like the biggest shock going from Pittsburgh to Montana?
Honestly, just being far from my family.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Like I think anything else is like awesome. Like everything else is the coolest thing ever, and just like I've always thought that I would leave Pittsburgh and try different places, and had no idea. There was at one point I was like way before I ever met John, and way before I ever knew what Montana was. I always just said like I'm gonna move to Montana one day and be a fly fishing guide. I suck at fly fishing and never been to Montana.
First part.
Right. Never been to Montana, but I was like, hey, that might be what I do one day. So like, I mean, just I feel like I could be anywhere, but the hardest part is being away from family.
It's funny you said that. My wife lived in Hawaii for 3 years.
Yeah.
And she said like you just don't have a support system.
You don't.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's what like we're talking kids now. So we're like, I'm like, what happens if we just want to go to the bar one day? Like we got to bring our kid with us. Like
Move to Key West. You can bring your kids to the bar there.
Can
Did
you?
it all last week.
okay,
Are you
noted.
gonna live in the bed of the truck with the kid?
No.
I would during the summertime. But like, I mean, if CYS is
You
listening, I
don't
wouldn't do that.
you don't have any kids, right? You're gonna need internet. You're gonna need an iPad. You're gonna need
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We don't have a TV at our house, and
Jealous already.
my sister, my younger sister, who has 3 kids, she's like, she hates our setup because she'll FaceTime us at like 10 o'clock at night, and we're watching a movie on our TV, which is just my computer laptop set up on our coffee table, and like we're just like laying on the couch watching TV. She's like, I fucking hate you guys. Like this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like where's your TV? Just get a TV. They're like $50 now. I'm like, doesn't go with the flow of the house, and there's no room for it.
I can't put that in the bed of a truck.
No, or there's no like outlet to plug in your TV either. Like you're
In the bed of the truck.
yeah.
Is there a TV in the Airbnb?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
No, you're not buying that experience. Fuck,
Yeah.
if you want to do that, you can go to Clarion. Yeah.
What if they want to watch Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Better brush up before you fucking get there. Beth Dutton's around the corner.
We do have a lot of people that ask, like, how do we see the Dutton Ranch? I'm like, that's not like a real place. That's
Well,
like,
they leave that sign up year round.
You know what?
do they?
Yeah, and
They're
you can
capitalized.
Airbnb that place.
Yeah.
Really?
Not the
Seven-
ranch itself. The ranch itself, you can do tours. But I do taxes for one of the producers of Yellowstone.
Really?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we talk about the show every time he's here. But he said that you can Airbnb Rips
Rips
cabin
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Lee's cabin. And I pulled it up on the internet. It's
like
expensive as shit.
$1,700.
Yeah.
$1,800 a night.
But why would
That's
they
because they
capitalize
can.
that?
I mean,
Is it in Montana or?
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
in.
that's-
Is the
don't know
ranch
if the
in
show's
Dillon?
filmed there or
I
not.
know like part. I don't remember
I
the
think
ranch
that-
is, and
I
there's
think
some
that sounds
parts
right.
that are filmed in Wyoming or something.
Yeah.
But
They film a lot in Utah, he said.
Well, they
Or
did.
Utah.
Originally,
Utah.
they filmed it all in Utah. And then the last 2 episodes, they brought it all back into Montana.
But
Okay.
the ranch itself is in Montana.
Yeah, correct. And then what was it, Quad J Ranch?
I don't
Or-
remember.
or 6J's, the one in Texas where
Texas.
Jimmy went to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actual ranch, that
Is that
Terry Shelton, the head producer of it, he bought
Taylor.
that ranch. Taylor Shelton.
Oh, Tyler Sheridan.
There it is.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Kim Crawford.
He bought that ranch in Texas.
Yeah, Kim Crawford was there.
That's where they bottle all their wine. No, he bought that ranch in Texas.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so they own that also. That's where
Oh,
Jimmy
cool.
went to work.
Yeah.
And it brings to a forefront of like all the real money that is in that industry of like the show horses and the horses in
Mhm.
general. There's a huge component. I didn't understand how they could pay out that much for like a horse to win a prize.
Right.
But what it is everybody thinks their horse is the best. So
Mhm.
they're gambling on their horses. They'll pay $250,000 to enter their horse
Yeah.
into a competition.
Because they know they'll get.
So there's 10 horses. Well, there's a $2.5 million pot.
Right.
You know, so you better bring the best to the show.
Mm.
Like my sister-in-law is a
crazy.
barrel racer,
Oh, really?
and there's money to be had there.
Yeah.
We don't.
Barrel racing's cool. Like, there's so many. And
What's
just
barrel
anything
racing?
rodeo.
It's 5 barrels in an arena, and they break a chute on a horse, and they
And the
do
horse
a
like has to
figure
weave
eights.
in and out of it,
Yeah.
but like you have to be like a good rider, and the horse has to be smart, and
Yeah.
you just kind of have to vibe with the horse.
I mean,
and
this
it's
is
like a
gonna be
whole
on
art.
air, right? My sister-in-law is a badass bitch, dude. Like badass, and I'm like, man, she like it's so far removed from
Uh-huh.
Pittsburgh living.
Yeah,
But like in her realm, she's a bad bitch, dude.
Mhm.
Like she just gets on a horse and goes. She'll get on a horse that's not broke and just go.
yeah.
She's like feeding animals and like taking in horses, and I'm like, we can't even keep a fucking goldfish alive in this house. Like, our house is different. Like we're built different here. Like
Well, goldfish are hard.
like anybody feed a fish today? Like I gotta feed this fucking fish every fucking day. Her husband's shoeing horses and shit. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like,
I can't even do this every day.
yeah. I'm like, I bought tires for my truck last month. Like, what the fuck do you want from me? Yeah, so like you're in the thick of it. It's a different lifestyle. I'm
Yeah,
sure you run
it's-
into people out there that are just different. They're just
Yeah,
built
it's
different.
definitely different. It's cool. It's like I feel like that area of Montana is super, or just, and maybe it's just because I'm out of my norm here, my comfort zone here. But I feel like as soon as I moved out there, I feel like my brain went like this, and I was like, "There's so much like we can do out
Yeah.
here." And it's just like you're surrounded by all the people who think that way too. And I feel like everybody out there works for themselves, or they're like, there's like a 4th generation leather maker, saddle maker, or there's like somebody who's running their own some sort of like anything. Like everybody has their own ideas, and they're super creative out there. So it's just like you feed off of that, and then it's just like this whole like holy shit.
It's like Gina's spirit animal
Yes.
needed to be in Montana
It
the
did.
whole time.
She needed to be there.
Like people probably around here when you were doing what you were doing, exercising, like people were probably like, "What the fuck
This
is
fucking
going on?"
bitch is wild. Like she needs to be institutionalized. I mean, I still do need to be institutionalized, but that's beside the point. Now
You
it's accepted.
bought yourself 10, 15 years.
Yeah, exactly right. But no, definitely, yeah. Or like any ideas that I had out here that were like creative. Like I mean, stupid ideas. Like I was like, I'm gonna braid bracelets and sell them on Etsy. But like I'd get like made fun of out here for it, and out there they're like, oh yeah, you should like sell those at this market.
Get an eagle feather and fucking tie it in there. But the problem is now is you can put that on Etsy, and it, instead of your zip code being Pittsburgh, it's Montana.
Right.
So people are like buying into like that whole, it comes from Montana. It's got to be cool.
So where do you sell the hats? Is it only online? Or do you sell them in short stores?
No, we sell them on. So we'll make like most of what we do is custom work. So like if you want a hat, you call us or go on our website, and there's like a custom hat form that you'll fill out, and you kind of fill out the details.
Yeah, I tried to figure that out.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but like it's I don't know. Like
can we get a flex fit? We just get a flex fit.
No, it's like we fit it to your exact head. So you can do an online order, or you come into the shop and we measure your head with like this thing called a conformer, and you just kind of put it on your head and get the exact measurements of your head. But yeah, we do a lot of online orders, but most of what we do is like people coming in, visiting in town in Montana. We get your head measured at the shop, make it, but like it's not like you get to leave with your hat that same day. It's like a 6 to 8 month turnaround time right now because of like how deep we are in orders. And if we can get your, like when we can get your felt in, your felt is like your hat that you start with and then block it down and do all that. But yeah, it's a whole process. It's not just like you go into Murdoch's or like your local like say Dick's Sporting, it's Tractor Supply, Dick's Sporting Goods, and buy like a hat off a rack. Like you're coming in, you're getting like the whole experience. You're paying for the experience and you're paying for the material. Like the material we use are the top quality beaver felts in like the United States.
What's the cost of a hat?
Right now the cost of beaver just went up, so we're at $1,100 for a 100% beaver felt hat, or if you want the 50-50 blend, which is half beaver, half rabbit, that's $900.
Long before you were coming on the show, I said I was like, I'm buying one of these hats just to support you. Like it was a friendship place on Etsy, and I was like, all right, well, we got to rethink this fucking thing. Let's get one of those ones.
Yeah. These guys
how much beaver's in that hat?
There's zero beaver in that.
Some red beaver.
I wish I knew we were coming here before. I would have brought everybody a hat, but.
Yeah, John would have killed you. John would have been like, "Wait a second."
No, that motherfucker. John will give the whole business away if he could. I'm like, hey, no, like you don't know that person. You don't owe that person.
I'm not living in the back of a truck for this shit.
He's like, we got zero bills, babe. I'm like, no, we got shit to pay.
How long does it take to make a hat?
From start to finish, it's like a 2-day process, but that's just because you have to let it dry. Yeah. Hands-on time, I'd say about 3 hours maybe.
I think I saw a video on your Insta where that you guys were at a show and you were like making them, like you were dimpling the hats.
Shaping them,
Is that's dimpling just the front dimples?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like making them for people right then and there?
Yeah.
So that's like the finished product's there, you're just
correct.
putting it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Or like we're like tweaking, like we're not at the capacity where we can like have like unshaped felt hats yet because we don't have the inventory for it, and we're like backed up on custom orders. So like to make it to the point, to make a hat to the point where we can just get it like open crowned where it's unshaped, and then we can just bring it to a show and like or a market and shape it on site. Like we just don't have the time to do that yet. But like we do these things called a palm leaf hat, which is basically like a straw hat, and they come to us unshaped from this company in Texas called Sunbody, and we'll bring them to festivals and markets and stuff like that, and you shape them by dunking them in a tub of water, and then you give them the shape and dimple that they become pliable then, and then you can shape them then and there, so people can kind of customize that hat and leave with it same day. So that's like our bread and butter for the... Back
to Yellowstone, that was Jimmy's first hat. He had like a palm-shaped hat, like rookie.
Yeah.
And when they gave him his like real felt hat, he was cowboy.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a real deal
then. Jimmy, the goofy one, right?
Will you tell? Yeah. You say what's the markup on a hat? Will you say? Or is that top secret information?
I mean, it changes. Like, you can buy, like, felts sometimes are $500.
It's like lobster tail, bro. It's like market price.
Yeah, and it depends. Like, it fluctuates. But, yeah, there's, like, one of the suppliers that we'll get felts from sometimes are, like, I don't even know what he's at right now. I think $495 or $500 a felt. So we sell it for $1,100. But we're
It's
spending
labor.
a bunch of time.
Yeah, it's labor.
it's not
labor
one
intensive.
felt per hat either.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's 3 felts.
Right. But then like the felts that we use the majority of the time, I think they just upped theirs another $50 instead of like usually they would do like $5 increments, and then they just upped them like $50, and we were like,
See,
now we gotta increase
I'm
our
an
prices
ideal
again.
man too, right? I got ideas, right?
Yeah.
I'm like you. I have all these big ideas.
Oh, boy.
yeah.
But
Here we
if
go.
you shoot a moose in Montana, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'm gonna bring the meat home.
Mm-hmm.
Could you be like, hey, Cofer Hat Company, make me a moose hat with my felt?
I mean, John would find a way. I'd be like, don't fuck with that. Like, why are you
Yeah,
gonna
but like,
take that on?
be like, hey, you're gonna mount this moose on my wall. I just want the horns. I want a European mount, but I want a goddamn hat
made out of
the
moose.
felt.
I don't know how that
I
would
mean, I
work.
gotta pay $4,000 for that. I mean,
why beaver, though?
$4,000.
Like,
Why beaver
yeah.
is the question. This is
I
why we
didn't
need
think-
John here, because he's
Well,
the guy that
okay.
tells you all that. But
Their hair strands run further into the felt. I think it's stronger.
so yeah, the beaver felt it. A beaver is a semi-aquatic animal, right? Like
Yeah.
he's in and out of water. So the durability of their fur is like that's like the Cadillac or what's the good?
Cashmere.
What's
It's
like a Corvette.
It's like the
That's
Corvette.
Yeah.
It's like the Corvette.
So
you can wear it like in any weather?
you can wear it in any weather. Like people, a lot of people, they'll jump in the creek with it. They'll get it like soaked. They'll feed their horse out of their hat. Like
What do
we
they
loved selling to ranchers because they beat the shit out of their hats, and like we're like it's like a testimony to our. Is testimony the right word?
Yeah.
What do they call a creek in Montana? Is it a creek or a creek?
It depends on what part. It's crick or creek, but
I call it a crick.
it is a crick.
I call it
My
a crick.
mom hates when I say crick. She corrects me every single
I
time.
think it's a crick.
She also hates how I eat. I think she also just hates me.
So
as a
what is
person.
it? Plum Creek?
Sandy
Creek.
Creek Road to me.
Sandy Creek.
But actually,
Plum
it's a
Creek.
good point because I think I call it Plum Creek.
Yeah, it's Plum Creek.
Who even are you?
We just blew you up, man. We got to your origin story.
Creek.
I just think it's wild to like.
Greg enters the chat. How do you know this creek, by the way? Let's start there.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
When did you meet him?
Greg?
Yeah.
She was driving through my front yard.
That was a low
Last week.
time in my life.
Last week. Yeah. Me,
What happened?
Me
Was
and
I-
Allie get in an argument. She drives to the front yard.
It was you.
Fucking trash at
You
everything.
fuck with one of us. You fuck with all of us.
Yeah. They're fucking nuts, these three girls.
Well, I think Natalie called me. So my sister Natalie and Greg are high school sweethearts.
Yes.
So Greg and I, we go back. We go way back.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been a brother since as long as I can remember. And then I think one of our highlights of our relationship has been when you and Natalie got in a fight or something. Natalie calls me from her flip phone and is like, he just I don't even know what you did.
Don't say it. I don't know.
I honestly don't. I honestly don't remember. And I was like, I'll be right there. So I have my mom's like Sequoia, which is like this like beat up like 300,000 miles on it, and I'm like flooring it because I'm pissed because I'm like, oh, he fucked with Natalie, like he's fucking dead. And I apparently I drove up through his mom's front yard to like make a point.
It's actually like very fitting that she lives in Montana, because so she drove through the front yard. Think of Yellowstone. It's like something Beth Dutton would do.
She's a Beth.
I'm not Beth Dutton. No,
She
I'm
is
not.
Beth Dutton.
They're
She's
the
Beth
Duttons.
I am not.
I'm kidding.
But I mean, I don't like disrespect. So
Yeah, she doesn't. None of them like disrespect.
yeah,
That
we don't
was-
do disrespect.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
so
like
you
that.
were going to fight him.
I don't know what point I was trying to prove, but I was like, I'm here.
Messing with his grass.
Yeah.
I'm here and I want to be
his grass, it
there.
was his mom's grass, and I'm like, sorry, Gina. I feel
Sorry,
bad.
Gina.
I'll buy you grass seed.
I think it was probably cold because nothing happened.
Yeah, I don't think anything happened to it, but
I actually don't even remember.
So what were you thinking? She
he knew
blast
I was
into you.
batshit crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm about to deal with this.
He's like, oh, we're here again.
He's like, nothing. Greg was like, nothing my aunt wouldn't do.
Exactly. These fucking Italian people. You know what I mean?
We don't fuck around.
Yeah.
I kind of like, not in the wrong way, but I kind of forgot about you hanging out with T back in the day.
Oh my
Like
God,
Andy
Teehee
all
and
that.
Pater and
Yeah.
all them.
They were at the house
That
every
was
day.
yeah. We had so my house growing up was like open door. Like my mom and dad just like they liked when we hung out there because they could kind of keep tabs on us.
I love
And
Yeah.
Just pick it up.
I don't want ice. Can you just give me a little splashy splash?
We can pause.
No
Hey,
ice.
Nate, pause. We'll start clean.
Okay. Because he's gonna fuck it up anyway.
There's no way.
No water either.
What did you say? I don't
Just
understand.
no ice.
Splash.
She said no ass.
Splash.
Oh, you want whiskey? All right. Well,
Thank you for the water.
This should be we're not cutting this. We're not cutting this.
no, don't cut this.
She's drinking Elijah Craig neat.
That's how you're supposed to have it.
She's a better bourbon drinker than most of the people we've had on this show.
Do you want a splash of ice or do you want a splash of Elijah Craig?
What time's on reservation?
Yeah, are you're
I'm gonna be late. No, it's
You have
okay.
to go.
No, it doesn't matter.
Fuck that. This is
Thank
what they call podcast gold.
And now a brief word from our sponsor.
This episode of Between Two Bridges is sponsored by Paymark Payroll. Are you tired of spending countless hours juggling payroll calculations, tax filings, and compliance regulations? Well, say goodbye to that chore and let Paymark Payroll take the burden off your shoulders. With our secure online portal, you can access your business information from any internet location, even your phone. Employees will love the ability to receive direct deposits, and they can access all their pay stubs, tax forms, and information through their own portal. Focus on growing your business while we take care of the rest. With top-notch customer support, we're always here to assist you with anything, at any time. Don't let payroll stress hold you back. Choose Paymark Payroll and experience the freedom to thrive. Contact us at payyourpeople.com for a personalized consultation and a demonstration of our powerful payroll solutions and see how Paymark Payroll can better your workflow. That's payyourpeople.com. Join the growing list of satisfied businesses that have embraced the convenience and efficiency of Paymark. Payday made easy. Your business deserves nothing less than the best, and that's exactly what Paymark Payroll delivers. Now back to the show.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we just had the Super Bowl. How was business at the pizza shop?
it was busy.
Busy?
A lot of pizza.
Is that like your busiest time of year? Is the Super
No.
Bowl? Like, what's
Halloween?
your busiest day?
Halloween?
Busiest day. So I feel like in every other community, Halloween is the busiest pizza day of the year, but light up night specifically this year.
Oh yeah, you're bringing it
just
down there.
killed it.
20,000 people come to Oakmont
Dude,
for
it
light
was
up
the,
night.
and I talked to a lot of the people like in Oakmont. They were like, "This is the best light up night we've ever had." The weather was perfect.
Yeah.
It was just like a good.
I think I was out of town this year. Everybody keeps telling me it was like the best one ever.
No, it was.
Oh, they had
I
like
miss light up
drones.
night.
Yeah, they had, a drone show.
They spent $30,000 on those drones.
Yeah, well,
What?
that's Oakmont for you.
Yeah.
Imagine the Airstream you could build with 30 grand.
They should
Yeah.
do
Montana
that. They should do that
living.
more often. We'll sell a lot
It'll
of
be a
pizza
little
like
cozier
that.
than the back of the pickup truck.
So what time did you start Sunday? Show up what? 8 a.m.
No,
7.
no, I never get there early.
So it's not a big bump
I mean, I
on
go-
Super Bowl.
what's up?
It's like a microcosm. Like people talk about the pizza shop being busy, but it's not busy on Super Bowl.
No, it was busy. We were definitely busy.
500 pies.
I thought we would have sold wings.
200 pies.
I thought we would have sold more wings than what we did. We sold a lot of pizza. I don't know if people like. We have like really good wings. I'm a wing guy.
I do like Fox's wings.
Yeah, we have good wings.
All right.
I like the cookie pie
but-
too.
Yeah, cookie pie's good. But yeah, I thought we would have sold more wings because
That's what
like,
happens.
Super Bowl is the biggest wing day of the year. Where,
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, so like not just
Super Bowl Sunday
Super Bowl Sunday is the biggest
for
wing
your
day.
shop or in Pizza
No,
World?
for the country.
Okay.
So like everywhere will sell our
Payroll.
wings. Like we get our wings from Fox's, and I stocked up a lot, so I don't have to worry about anything. But usually, like in previous years, if you got to go elsewhere to get wings, good luck. Like you're not going to get them.
Let's talk about these fucking 9-10-inch shells you sell.
Let's fucking talk about it, bro. Old school.
Well,
They're
let's
the best.
talk about wings first. Where do you get your wings?
He said he gets them from Fox's.
What if you don't sell them? Do you throw them away?
No,
You just freeze them?
Look how
There's-
big he is. He eats them.
I eat them, bro. Protein. I got to get it in.
Yeah.
Do you take
well, I'm
things
trying to get
home?
like a garbage bag of wings from you.
We could do that. You could buy a case.
We could put it in our Destiny dumpster.
I mean, you could buy a whole case. Just like you could buy a whole case of Tom and Eddie shells.
what, $1
9
piece?
shells.
Dude,
And, you know. it'll be
shells are the best, bro.
good. Shells are good.
Wait, are you
telling
still
you.
doing deep dish?
No.
I love
It's
deep dish.
because I could do the deep dish, but not everyone else could do the deep
Can you
dish.
do
Yeah.
So-
stuffed
Like your-
crust?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
Yeah, we could do that. We could pretty much do anything you want.
Do you have arugula?
Arugula?
Yeah. You know, we like arugula.
That's out of our wheelhouse. No, we don't have. Sorry.
You just
I'll
said
work
you could
on
do
it.
I
anything.
don't think Fox's typical demographic is
Yeah.
the arugula
I
kind of
know.
people.
But I'll tell you what.
But you like
So when they're
arugula on
sitting in the
pizza
meeting
too.
at Fox's, right? They're not like, all right, look, we got to promote our
Push
shit
football pizza.
to the girl that lived in an Airstream, pushed a tire up a hill for 10 years,
Listen,
moved to Montana.
The kind of girl that is willing to live in the back of a truck probably isn't typically into arugula either.
That's a good point. Yeah, like
But you never
don't
know. If she's down to live in the back of the truck, she's down to fuck with arugula. Like,
John's like, now I gotta go out and hunt arugula, and her dad's like, I told her she wasn't gonna find arugula, and she left here. What is arugula?
it's like a
What's a
peppery
fucking-
lettuce.
Does Kim Crawford eat
It looks like
arugula?
Kim Crawford eats plenty of arugula.
Kim
She's
Crawford, you should see what diet she's on as a supermodel / wine agent. She's
This not the same person?
no.
My
You're thinking
Wait, who?
Cindy Crawford.
Yeah.
I know Cindy
No, you know,
Crawford.
the supermodel with the mole?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mole. Like
Wait, is she an actress too? Is she
No, I
alive?
don't think so.
she can
Yeah,
act.
she's
She
alive.
can do whatever she
She
wants.
was just in Key West.
yeah.
She apparently has a winery too.
Yeah, apparently she can grow grapes. My thing is like,
Meanwhile, it was just some girl with a wart. He was like, I think that's Cindy Crawford.
That's Kim Crawford.
hey
He
man,
was half kicked in the ass. He has no idea.
I mean, I was sober at
It's
home.
John Dutton.
I mean, it wasn't Kevin Costner. I know that. I knew something.
This is going to be an interesting
It's hard
episode.
being a Yinzer, I tell you that.
Dude, my cheeks actually hurt from laughing.
Do people know you in Montana? Or are they like when you like talk? Are they like,
Where are
I
you
mean,
from?
I feel
yeah? Do
like
you get a where are you from kind of thing?
sometimes, yeah, but it's probably just because I sound like an idiot. They're just like,
So there's
we have
did
a
you go
term for
or
that.
did you
It's
go
called
to
Yinzer.
school? Like, do you have a GED?
So there's people. I mean, I don't know. In Yellowstone, like there's resentment from people in Montana.
Oh,
from people
big
moving
time.
In.
There-
Do you get any
people-
of that? Like, do they think you're
Yeah,
some
people
outsider?
who are native to Montana most of the time hate outsiders. If you have a California license plate, you better just like kiss your ass goodbye because they fucking hate you. But like most people who live there are transplants now. Like
Yeah, 90% of cars are Enterprise. And they
Right,
carry a
exactly.
California plate.
exactly. But yeah, there's a big like if you're from out of state, like you're not welcome here. But like most of us came from out of state. So
Do you have to say like, no? Listen, I was here before Yellowstone.
I just don't
Well, you
say
weren't here
anything.
before.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
just
like
got here before I watched
I was
Yellowstone.
here before I watched
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
I'm just like I don't know. I'm from Pennsylvania. I've you can hate me or you can like me, and it's not gonna bother
You're
me.
like, do you
in
know
any way.
Punxsutawney Phil?
Yeah. You know who he is?
That's my life animal. It's my spirit animal.
But yeah, they don't like California there. That's for sure. But I mean, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if you're a 6th generation Montanan or you just moved there yesterday. If you want to buy a hat, I'm gonna sell you a hat.
Yeah, I'm gonna get your business.
Yeah, exactly.
Who bought the first hat? Did you start with friends, family? And
Friends.
I mean, you said you had a website. I'm sure that
Yeah,
wasn't
so
day one
the first
type
hat
stuff.
John made. So the Cofer Hat Company started in the Airstream. So
Okay.
he used to have a futon right at the front of the Airstream. Like as soon as you walk in the door, there's a futon. And then he was like, when we were like talking about it, he's like, I'm going to take out the futon and I'm going to make it like a workbench. So he built a workbench and then he bought like a couple blocks and stuff. So the first couple hats were made in the Airstream, which is pretty cool. And then, he made his first hat for himself in the Airstream. That was hat number 1. So every hat that we make now, we number on the inside of the sweatband. So like you could like if you have a Cofer hat right now, you could like I can't remember what number we started numbering. I have a track of like every number from 1 on, but like he didn't start writing them in the sweatband until like hat number 50 or something like that. So
Where you at now?
500 something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool because they're all made by hand. Like if we had a machine shop, that'd be like garbage. Like we'd be like, wow, we really suck at our job. But no, he's the only hat maker in the business. Like it's just the two of us, and I keep everything organized, and he makes everything. So
in my industry, like blocking hats
Mhm.
used to be a big thing. Like everybody, like in dry cleaners, a lot of guys wore a wool hat.
Yeah.
And they'd bring them to the cleaners to get cleaned, and then they could block them out. And the aluminum stretcher is a big deal.
Do you still do that?
So I do it.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's
so I have a
fucking
mushroom
cool.
topper.
So you're the
block 'em
competition.
out.
Huh.
Well, I don't make hats.
I'm
But
kidding.
I'll block a hat. So
Okay.
like old timers will come in and say, "Hey, can you block my hat?" Yeah, no problem.
That's pretty cool.
But I have a friend that has dry cleaners in locally Ford City
Yeah.
that has the old aluminum hat stretcher.
Yeah.
And
That's
he's not,
awesome.
He's not giving it up.
No.
But I it's like a big thing. It's like it was a big business.
Yeah.
Like guys wore hats like that.
Yeah.
Like, all day long. The paper boy delivered in a wool hat.
Yeah.
So you would clean it and you'd block it.
Yeah.
And I block them manually on a mushroom topper, but it's like it takes you back.
Yeah. Which
So
is cool. Like I feel like we lost touch with the old way of things. Like everything's automated or everything's AI. No, like people aren't needed for any of the jobs.
Yeah, like
anymore.
I'll do a lot of Stetsons. Guys that own Stetsons want
Yeah.
them clean, so we'll clean them up. And
How
then
do you clean them?
So I do a lot of steam cleaning. I put them on and then I steam them off.
Yeah.
And we can't dry clean because of the tumble the mechanical action will ruin them.
Right.
So then we just steam them and
Yeah.
then we'll brush them and then
Yeah.
we'll steam them and brush them
Yeah.
and then
And
we
that's
put
all
them
you
on
need
there and then
to
we
do.
shape them on there.
Yeah.
Our problem is when we take them off of there in a hurry,
Yeah.
you got to leave them sit overnight.
Okay.
Like the
So
steam,
that
you got to
keeps
let it,
the shape.
keep the shape.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is like a Neanderthal pulling on your hat and
Mhm.
you're like a 7 3/8 and now it's stretched out to like 8 1/4.
You're like, shit.
You're like,
It used to
it's
fit,
got
now it
it's got to fit.
Yeah.
And I think that people, your customers, are worried about them fitting right.
Yeah.
Because like you want to put them on and they just got.
It's just like.
Yeah, I wear these hats right here. Imperial Flex.
Yeah.
See the secret?
The elastic. Yeah.
Your hats, you can't do that.
No. So
It's
like.
gotta feel good, fit good.
And a lot of times, like who I personally and John I know does too love selling the hats to are ranchers or people who are using them all day every day, and it's cool to see. Like we want them to fit just right, so that because they're like Montana, it's windy as fuck. Like you're riding a horse through doing whatever you're doing in your field, your pasture, and like you want that hat to stay on your head, but it's windy, so like that shit'll blow right off if it doesn't fit just right. But then you don't want it too tight to where like it's uncomfortable
Give
to
you a
wear.
headache.
So there's like it's like, but it's also buying a new hat is like breaking in a pair of boots. So like it's leather, like
It's
the
your
leather
uniform.
boots, like yeah. So it's like kind of the same concept because you have a leather sweatband in there. You're kind of breaking it into your head, but like we try to speed up that breaking in process by the tools that we use, like the conformer, which is like we take like an exact replica of your head and then we put it on a piece of paper. So then when we go to like finish out your hat, we make a block or like pull out the conformer which stretches to that exact measurement and it goes right in your hat and you steam it and you let it sit overnight to let it kind of conform to that exact head shape. It's pretty cool.
Nuts.
How did you learn how to make a hat?
She didn't.
I didn't.
He did.
John
How
did.
did John learn how to
So
make
it's
a hat?
actually a really weird business. Like at first getting into it, like he had reached out for help and nobody would help him. Like
Sure.
they're like, fuck you. Like we figured it out on our own. Like you got to figure it out on your own. Or, you know, like they probably got a million inquiries asking about that. And they're like, everybody's like Joe Schmo. Like they're not serious or whatever. And then it was like so John was pretty much self-taught until like those people he reached out to saw that this is my take on it. Like it might be different in those people's heads or his head, but like I don't think that he got feedback from any outside hat maker until they saw he was serious and they saw that like he was actually producing a decent product. So as soon as they saw like he wasn't fucking around, like he's here to like learn and he's here to make a good product, and they were more willing to help him. But it's like a really weird, coveted, like little niche.
Yeah.
There's like 1% of the population that needs a hat to last.
Right.
Everybody else will just buy another hat.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
so
Yeah,
that's
but
John,
$1,100 to
Yeah.
make that hat last.
that's John's problem. Like he's every single year in January and February is like our slowest time of year, and he's like, I don't think we're gonna sell hats this year. I think like how are we gonna sell hats this year? Like I think we ran our luck and that's it. I was like, stop doing that. Stop panicking.
It's
Like
business.
Yeah.
I think
January
that's a
and
long
February.
You
business.
just adapt and overcome and you figure it out as you go, and like and this was his famous line, was like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like, that's just how he handles everything. But when it comes down to business, it's like he panicked about it, and he's like, we're not selling anything. Like, I think we priced ourselves out. I'm like, no, like, this happens every January and February. Like, it's gonna be fine.
Hey, John, if you're listening, I was out of business today in the ductwork business. I thought I was out of business. I was like, man, we haven't had an order in 6 days. We're done. It is what it is. Our largest distributor, 1,100 cases. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, right.
Business, you know?
That's him. You know? Like, he's like this. I'm like,
John, keep watching the episodes, bro. It works. Keep putting in the work and pay attention.
I mean, he's realistic about it. I'm like Delulu, like delusion land, and I'm like, this is like, well, it'll just work itself out. But like, we worry about different things. I'm like, if we go into the woods, we're gonna get eaten by a bear. He's like, you can't think about the bears.
Like, I will make a hat out of that bear.
Yeah, like, he's like, you can't worry about shit like that. That's not realistic. I'm like, what? Like, that's. I'm worried about things like that. I'm worried about things like North Korea blowing us up, and he's like, he's worried about like
they're not coming from Montana. They're coming for my hats.
Yeah, like, I worry about shit like that. He's worried about like, we're never gonna sell hats. We're never gonna sell hats again. I'm like,
well, that's yin and yang in a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about our significant others on this podcast, hoping they will listen.
Yeah.
They have yet to listen.
they listen all the time. They just don't.
No, I know. I've said some things here that if they were listening, they would be repeated.
Oh, no.
It wasn't me.
No, it was me.
Oh no, not the headsets.
Clean up on aisle 5.
Where we starting this at?
Okay, hold on. Was John in the... Did he fight MMA?
He did.
UFC?
Yeah. It was before my time.
Can we put it on record?
Yeah.
Biggest hat.
Just fight
Dick
tonight.
business ever.
I don't think we would have gotten along whenever he was fighting, though, because that was like he was like, when he focuses on something, when he obsesses, like we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think he just like
ever, though.
He's just like balls to the wall. This is my plan. This is my goal. I'm gonna not stop. Nothing's getting in my way. So he did. I mean, he wrestled his whole life as a kid, from the time he was like 6 years old all the way up through college, and then after college, he was like, I'm gonna fight professionally. So then he did.
That's awesome.
It's funny because like, I know my wife now. Like, we're not technically married legally, but I know her now.
Yeah.
And knowing her over the last 10 years, I think about if I would have met her at 27.
Isn't that, do you talk about it?
I do.
Yeah, because you're just like, had I met you back in...
She delivered Fox's Pizzas.
Shut up.
In Oakmont. Remember the Oakmont? I had Audie's. Oakmont had a Fox's Pizza. She was there for a one-day interview. She wrecked into Russ Valentine's car. And I was on my way out. We worked together for like a day or two.
And you're like, this is it?
And that was later in life we found that out. We talked.
So you
thinking, like,
thank God you didn't know each other.
Yeah, I didn't meet her there. I did meet her at the Oakmont Tavern, but I didn't meet her. I knew her.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm out. I'm losing a job. Russ is hiring sexy blonde chicks. I'm out. Put my fucking 1 hour notice in and dipped. But when I met her, and like through the last 10 years, I think, like, man, if I'd have met her 1 second before I met her, I would have ruined it.
Yeah.
I would have ruined it.
We talk about that shit all the time, like how everything you do in your life leads you to the moment that you're in right now. Because John was like, had I not wrestled and had I not, gone here and done this and done that, which would, like, if I didn't go there, I wouldn't have bought the Airstream. If I didn't buy the Airstream, then I wouldn't have met you. And it's like this whole thing, and we're just
3 degrees of separation.
It's fucking weird though. Like, you can get like really tripped out thinking. Yeah.
Because I honestly met my wife's best friend, one of her best friends, in handcuffs.
You were in handcuffs or she was in handcuffs?
I was in handcuffs. Outside the Oakmont Tavern. I got a bad raw deal there, and they cuffed me, and I was pissed. And I met her friend in handcuffs. And I was like, this isn't right. Like, this isn't how this night was
So wait,
supposed
you
to
met
go
her
down.
friend, and then...
So did you know her?
I was already dating her. This we were on third date material.
Okay.
Oh man.
So third date, you got arrested
on the third date.
See, that would have sealed the deal for me. I'd be like, you got arrested.
Yeah, but I was working an angle, I thought. And the OPD wasn't working the same angle, and they cuffed me up. And
maybe they were working the same angle.
it was a temporary cuffing.
I mean, whatever it was, it worked.
I mean, there's two different cuffings. There's like cuffing and going to jail cuffings. And there's cuffings that just temporarily control you.
I've had some cuffings.
Which one was it?
So this was a temporary control situation.
Understood.
And I remember I was like, oh, you look familiar.
To the police?
No, the girl walking by. And she was like, looked at me and I was like, oh, you're Sarah. You know, you're Sarah's friend, Sarah. Sarah Miller, nice to meet you. She was like, I think I met your boyfriend out front.
He's in cuffs right now.
Handcuffs right now.
Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't a deal breaker though.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
nah, we were 3 dates in, and she already knew I was a Casanova.
How old were you?
29.
This is yesterday.
Things were different. Things were different then, dude.
How do you think
mean,
you're different from then to now?
10 years ago.
Are you asking questions now?
I'm asking
He hasn't been in
questions.
handcuffs since.
You want to know the questions? The questions were, I think we've talked about this a lot because, like, Jerry's always been pretty well kept, right? You're a smart man. Right?
I've never been in handcuffs.
That's what you mean. I just think that, like, life isn't provocably for. Can't even talk.
Provocably?
Yeah, life's not for the weak at heart, right? Right? So you don't just like go out on a Tuesday stroll and watch the birds and come back and think that it's going to be okay. So we're in a business podcast. So this podcast gives us time to be like, all right, this life that we live, people that are in business for themselves, it's not going to be a usual Tuesday. When the fuck do you wake up to a usual Tuesday?
It's never a usual Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's never a Tuesday?
wake up-
all days are the same
Yeah.
when you own your own business.
You wake up on Tuesday, cook bacon, thinking like, hey, man, this is like last Tuesday.
Every day is Monday in business.
And then that afternoon, someone wrecks their car into your fucking business or walks in and shoots you. And then, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
This Tuesday ain't like last
Yeah.
Tuesday. So as a business owner, you got to fucking stand on your feet and be like, all right, well, this isn't like last Tuesday, but the last 52 Tuesdays has given me a chance to know what to do this Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because this Tuesday's bad. This is a bad Tuesday.
Yeah, business.
This is going to go down like one of the worst Tuesdays. You know who's going to be here on Wednesday? Me, motherfucker.
Dude, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but the show Bear.
Mhm.
I think that's a great, for real representation of like
Owning your own business.
specifically like a restaurant, because that's what I could relate to. But I mean, it's tough being a business. You guys, we all know the day in, day out struggle of being a business owner. It's
But like,
tough.
would you trade it?
No, I couldn't do this for anyone.
Would you ever work for somebody else ever again?
No way.
No,
I'd go to work for him for a day or two.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
I'd get fired after a day or two.
Yeah, right. Well,
But like,
I
now that
always
you have
think-
a taste of,
I always think to myself, like, man, I wish I could just go do 40 hours. But like, I couldn't do it. There's no way.
The number
you
would
couldn't
be
tell me what to
significant.
do and me
Yeah.
listen to you. You know what I mean?
that's
Like,
what John always says. He's like, I wish that I wish I could just go in for a 9 to 5 and then just look forward to my weekends again.
The
and
day's over,
I was like,
yeah.
you would fucking hate it. Like, you were the most backwards motherfucker I've ever met in my whole life, and you could never sit in a 9 to 5. You can't even sit here for 3 hours focusing on one thing. Like,
I worked. Sorry to interrupt.
that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, no, I did construction for 10 years. maybe
Hump
more.
that drywall.
Dude, and I worked, like, there was times, like, for real, when I was young, I'm talking like between 20 and 25, and I really, I worked so fucking hard. Like, no one could tell me what I was doing was wrong. Like, I wanted to crush every single person in work.
For yourself or to
I
prove
think it-
yourself to...
I wanted to, like, run the company.
Yeah.
I was never going to get there. It was just never going to happen. You know what I mean?
I was talking to somebody. This time of year, it's tax season, so
Yeah.
it's 7 days a week. It's, 10, 12, 16 hours a day. And I was talking to somebody, and they were like, yeah, it was a slow day. And you think, like, man, it would be nice to have a slow day where I still got paid.
Right.
Like, I knew, but like when you're in business, a slow day, it's like,
You're
fuck, how am I going to pay tomorrow's bills?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You know, so there's no such thing as a slow day because if it's slow, you got to find something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna come up on south from like a couple things coming on in life, and then like bachelor parties and weddings. Like I got a couple cousins that are getting married, and like I think about it, and I'm like, well, we're just like, if I got to close to go, I mean that's like $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
That ain't fucking PTO.
So now
time.
it's not a $1,000 trip; it's a $5,000 trip.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I look at my last vacation with my family. It's like we shut the shop down,
Yeah.
so that was a $7,000 loss of revenue,
Right.
Yeah.
and then plus.
But
we
was
didn't
it
go
worth
there.
it to spend time with your family?
We talked about
Unfortunately, I didn't get off the plane, and they weren't like, "God damn it, that's Joe from Thorough Cleaners. You're comped. Drinks weren't free down there, you know." So it was a $7,000 hit there, and then it's a $14,000 week, you know.
But
And-
that's all, like, finding the balance with it all is like,
yeah, that's my big balance. Like that's one of the things I promote biggest on our show is like, hey man, Miss Smith ain't gonna be at your casket looking for her pants, and if she is, you're not gonna care.
yeah.
Yeah.
My kids though, they're
Will
gonna be
care.
standing there.
Yeah, you said that
Yeah.
when I was here last time.
Yeah, I believe that my whole entire life.
And
like,
that's the benefit of having your own business or working for yourself is that you get to work as hard as you want or as little as you want.
well, my business is my life.
Yeah.
My life has given me my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very fortunate for it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too emotional on air because, like, hey, I got a persona to keep. They told me I'm the funny guy, you know. But
You get soft on it.
Did they?
Well, if they keep telling
Who's
you,
they?
you believe it. I mean,
Who's
class
they?
clown, most humor, most humor in the room. But the thing is like, life's only what you make it. You know.
Yeah.
You
You
can
gotta
do it
get
in a
one,
Winnebago. You don't need 25,000 square feet. You don't need 9,000 square feet.
He's
I mean,
Jerry's like,
Oh, good. What?
No, I'm good.
Jerry's got
Just wondering why you didn't pour more in that
Because
glass.
I only let babies up.
Oh, okay.
50.
Jerry's got people that have 9,000 square feet houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Square footage doesn't.
Not me. Little known fact, I live in your grandma's house.
I know.
That's
She
it.
doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, Jerry's roommates with my grandma. Plot twist.
Let's rewind real quick. You kicked her grandmother to
Yep,
the
he
curb.
I
booted
told her
my
to get
grandma
out.
out. She's homeless now. She's looking. We're gonna take her into the back of the
She
pickup
lives in the
truck.
Fran's in the back of the
Fran's
truck.
in the back of the pickup truck.
But
No.
like,
Speaking of bad bitches. I don't know if I can say
Fran
it.
is a bad woman
Yeah, I don't know if I can
in a
say
good
it.
way.
that's the truth of all of it. Is like, and that's kind of what we come back to. Like when we have guests, we say, hey, you know, we came here because we were sick of people talking about this fake entrepreneurial life where
Yeah.
like, oh man, you could just buy an Airstream and you could move out to Montana and you'll sell 100,000 hats, and
Yeah.
then you can go to Miami and you
Instant
can hang out.
millionaire. Yeah.
Buy a Corvette and you can just hang out.
Mm.
It's not the truth. The truth is in this room.
Yeah.
People aren't going to like the truth,
No.
but
Yeah.
they're going to hear it.
That's why we don't let it out. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I feel like if you got the heart, you got the heart to hustle, and then the hustle is what makes it all worth it. Like I feel like, I don't know, I could never go back to I mean, I never really had like a 9-to-5. I did whenever I worked for my family's business, but that was.
I still see that as like entrepreneurship though, in a way.
It's
Like
what
you
I
working for your family.
think.
I feel like it's like,
You're toting a line,
Yeah,
dude.
like,
Like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's
working for
You
your
might not
family is the
even
hardest
realize
thing
it,
you could
but-
ever do.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the hardest job to leave too, because I was like, my aunt is gonna fucking hate me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss Aunt Jenny off, and she's never gonna look at me the same again. So like, I'm not only quitting to her, I feel like I'm quitting on my family.
There's only one job harder than working for your family, and that's when you're at the helm and your family's working for you. Like
Yeah.
when you run this shop
so.
and
Did
you have family working with you and entwined with you.
Yeah, it's hard.
do you have
that's-
family? You have family working
Well, they bought their own place, but like I worked with my family in my shop
for a long time?
4 years,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like
I know
it was
you
my
did.
mom
Yeah.
and my stepdad.
I mean, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I get to spend,
the camaraderie
I get to
of it
spend
is
every day
great.
with my family. And,
Yeah.
you know, and nobody works harder for you. Nobody should work harder for you than
Yeah.
your family.
Like no matter
right?
what, they always have your back.
Right.
But are there days where it's like, this would be easier if I was on my own?
Well, I've made jokes about like they'd be like, well, this person's looking for a job, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want any more people I can't fire.
Yeah,
And
but
they're
it's true.
Wait,
Yeah.
are you talking about me? And I'm like, take it how you want.
Yeah.
I don't need any more people.
But
I
you
can't
wouldn't
fire.
change it for the world, but at the same time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Like my position was where I worked for my family,
Yeah.
and then I bought my own shop, and then
And they
their
work for
shit
you.
went south.
So you
So
were,
what, then you were like, you
I
felt
bailed 'em out.
responsible?
but you were like the
Like,
young
they
guy
came-
coming up, right?
Yeah, and then
Nice.
whenever they got out,
Yeah.
they like their partner screwed them, and they needed somewhere to go. So I gave them a soft landing pad,
Yeah.
and now I had my stepdad and my mom in my business.
So the passing of the torch is a difficult thing.
But like the torch went out,
Yeah.
Well, right, but I'm just saying.
and then
like,
they came back, and I relit it
Yeah.
Yeah.
to keep them going.
but
Yeah.
in everyone's mind,
Well, everybody's
They
playing
don't
head
see it
games.
like
Yeah,
that.
everybody's
Yeah.
playing
You know
head
what I
games,
mean? Oh, yeah.
right?
yeah,
And then in my situation, they had an opportunity to relight their torch off my torch,
mm-hmm.
and they
Yeah.
took it
Yeah.
in a second without telling me.
Oh, you didn't even know
Right.
they were taking
Right.
the fuel from your torch.
Yeah, right. So like I'm good in my position. I'm carrying their weight. They were on vacation.
Yeah.
Right. And then they come back from vacation and told me, "Hey, we bought our own shop.
Yeah.
We have our own shop." And I was like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm already making income off them. Like that
Yeah.
didn't mean shit to me, but like they were working in my shop every day.
Yeah.
They were cooking pizzas in my oven.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, then you don't need a big oven. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I like laid on a pillow for a second, because that's what you do in like a family business. You lay down for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the significance of having a significant other. I wanted to blow it up. I wanted to go crazy.
Well, so
I like wanted to
that's
go
what I-
like, oh, tee on them.
So
Like we're
that's what-
fucking burning their house down. You
That's
know,
what
let's
I want
go.
to say or ask. My family, we just like we argue. I mean,
Yeah.
we're fucking coming
didn't
out with
argue.
it.
Yeah, we didn't argue.
You didn't. That's almost harder.
Yeah.
Because it's
I
just like
I
silence.
had little
and
kids.
it's
I
like-
had little kids
Yeah,
that
like-
wouldn't understood. They would have heard noise. You know, I think that's part of what I
Yeah.
was going through. Is my kids would have heard noise.
Yeah.
That's all, and their memories would have been noise.
Yeah.
Right? They wouldn't have known what was going on. But my person, as a bigger person, I like always told my wife like I'm better than them. You know,
Yeah.
like so in that position, I was like, all right, I need to curb my attitude. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you gotta,
like yelling's not going to solve
No,
this.
there's like a learning curve, like humbling yourself, working with family, like and trying to keep everything together. When you're that dude that's trying to keep everything together, like you got to take.
Yeah,
on
and
another-
I was that dude for a second.
Yeah.
Because I had two people in my life right then and there that were getting out.
Yeah.
Grass was greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. Then I had my wife that was telling me like, I told you, I warned you, I told you this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then there was me, and then I was the one that was I was the coral reef of that situation. I was eating all the shit.
Yeah.
So I just laid down one night and was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done listening. I'm done listening to everybody. I'm done hearing it. I'm done. And she was like, what do you mean you're done? You're done. Like, you can't be done.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not fucking done.
You're not done.
I'm coming
Take a
back
minute.
tomorrow.
Just give me a minute.
I need a minute. I'm coming fucking back tomorrow.
Harder
And that's like-
than I did.
And it took me 11 minutes. And I went back into the room and I just like kind of wiped my face off and I come back out and she was like, what are we going to do? I was like, they didn't survive because of us. They survived because of them. They'll be fine. And we didn't survive because of them, so we'll be fine.
Mhm.
Everybody here is going to be fine. What the fuck is everybody worried about?
Yeah. You just need a minute.
but-
Yeah, I just needed a minute to look at it that way.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, well then, what are you going to do tomorrow? I said, I'm going to get up and go to work. Fuck, what are you going to do tomorrow?
Yeah. Monday. Yeah.
So we're good.
There it is, Monday.
And
Today's Monday.
I remember I called Jerry, I think, and was like, man, dude, I'm losing $2,000 a month worth of revenue. Like straight cash, homie. I was, because that's what they paid me.
Yeah.
And then we started doing the numbers and we talked and then I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm good. I was like, I'm better off. I'm better off because like to me, it was always charity.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much money they gave me, it could have been $5,000-$10,000. It didn't matter. It was charity.
Yeah.
And then I took a big bite of it and was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm better off.
So are you guys on good terms now then, or?
We're good.
Yeah.
My stepdad is a good man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually, Hugh and my stepdad were buddies. We had Hugh on. And
Hugh?
the best thing to come out of that.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was in one of the episodes.
Yeah, they're Masons all together. But the best thing to come out of that was I took a breath.
Yeah.
Because my instinct was to be like, you know what? Fuck you, motherfuckers.
Well, business it's so personal. It's your life. That's all you do.
Oh, yeah.
But it is like you do have to check yourself a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Like you're
You
like,
do. Hell yeah,
like
you do.
how you really want to react.
Especially in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Like, oh.
I mean, I'm not
How I
speaking
really-
for, like, I don't know anything that goes on, but I'm just
No,
saying.
but like sometimes, like if
you're
we
with your
get like
significant
somebody
other,
who
that's
will
different.
say something,
You
about,
could lose your husband. You could lose your life over business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I'm in business with like not that we're like my mom, my stepdad, some of both my brothers work at the pizza shop from time to time. You know what I mean? You're in it with your husband.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine
But-
working with Natalie because
Yeah, and I'm
what's
more
wrong?
like I feel like I'm more I feel like I'm more on the controlling side, like not in a bad way. I mean, he might have a different side of the story, but
You split entities.
I just like
You have your
he's
street,
the
he has his.
creative, and I'm like the hey, we got to do this, and this to be able to pay these bills. Like I
Which
see
is
the numbers every
amazing.
day.
That's
And-
amazing
and he-
for a woman to say he's the creative.
yeah, that's
He is
different.
though. I mean,
That's
but like,
unique.
and he's like, had he not come up with this idea, like, I wouldn't have a job right now. I'd be bartending in fucking Montana right now because I'd be like, oh, I guess my year's up. So
Budweisers and shooters.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
No Miller
But
Lights.
he's
No
just
Miller
like, I mean, he's very fucking creative. He's very smart, and I feel like we make a really good team because like we balance each other. Like, and like I'll check him all the time, and he'll check me. But it's more so like he gets to do what he loves, and I love seeing it
Him.
all come to. I do love him, and I love it seeing it all come to fruition. And like I know, like when I want to start my business, like this business was our business together, but it was his idea. So like it's like I'm helping him grow his side of the thing, but like we're a team still, and it's like both of our ideas coming into this. But like whenever like I have like 10 million ideas also. So
You're an
when I
ideal girl.
Yeah. So when
I'm an
one of
ideal
those
man.
ideas sticks, then I'm like, he's got my back. I mean, he's not going to be doing the computer side of the stuff like I'm doing with Cofer Hat Company, but like he's got my back, and I know that. So like we always have each other's support, and it's like it could be the most asinine idea. Like right now we're on we're gonna our side gig is we're starting a band.
What
He's gonna
instrument
play
does he
harmonica. I'm playing guitar. We both suck, but we're
You
working
tell
on
John
it.
I know how to play harmonica. I'm
Oh,
pretty. I can
shit.
fucking play it.
Okay, all right.
Dude, I was in Key West, and there was this little like karaoke bar, mostly for gay sailors.
What?
Am I allowed to say that?
Say it again.
Yeah. It's like a little, it's called Kaya.
Why were you there?
I'm there for a good time, bro.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
So we're in Kaya, right? It's a little bar on Duval. It was February 10th, my wife's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
And,
birthday!
hey,
5 days,
shout
6,
out.
7, 8 days,
Yeah.
7 days ago.
Yeah. So
7 days.
we're there, we're
What's
hanging
up?
out, and the crowd's just not like receptive to what's going on. Like people are karaokeing. One dude's got like a sleeping bag on his head, and he's singing, and like I'm like, you know, this crowd needs me.
Yeah,
It
I'm here for the
absolutely
people.
needs me. So I karaoke. I got up on stage.
With a
I did the
harmonica?
devil. No, I went. They didn't have one.
But if there was,
and
he
I
was
didn't
on
travel
it.
with one, and I would have, but I did the devil one.
John travels with a harmonica. I'm just letting you know. He does.
John's big cat, man.
I mean,
Big cat hat.
cat
He's the cat in the hat, as they would say.
in
But
the hat.
you know, you need people in life to just
You need
push
your hype man.
forward.
You need your
Yeah,
hype
you need
man.
to push forward with that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and Sarah was like, "You're not gonna do it." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." And she's like, "You're not gonna do it." And I'm like, "Why did you keep telling me I was?" She was like, "Because if I keep telling you can't do it,
You're
What
gonna
was
do
your
it.
song?
you're gonna be up
What
there."
was your song?
Devil
choice?
went down to Georgia.
Oh, good
I'll
one.
sing it right here, right now. I don't even need to
Let's not do that.
Give a little jig on the table.
So I feel like you found your hype man.
I did, and he found his. Like, we're like the worst compliment to each other.
Said it earlier. You're the worst two
literally the worst two. Like, God was like, you and you are gonna be the worst people for each other in the best way. So somehow it works out. I mean, we still make really dumb decisions, and we're gonna make really dumb decisions, but we are there for each other at the end of the day. And that's like I could be like, I could come up with the stupidest idea, and he's like, yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah. What do they say?
I'm like, yes, that's what I needed to hear.
Jerry told me one
truck's
time, keep failing forward, right?
Yeah, it's true. That is the best words of advice, I feel like, because you're going to fail. There's going to be a lot of failures.
Huh? Does it fall forward?
Keep failing forward.
Like, you keep.
Yeah, you're going to fail, but
no
keep
matter
moving
what.
forward. Just keep going.
Okay.
Don't stop.
No matter what.
You only fail when you stop.
No, I like it. I agree.
Don't ever let the IRS tell you can't
Fuck
do
the
it.
IRS.
That is not tax advice. Do you think you ever come back? Do you ever plan on leaving Montana?
I don't like plans. I don't like the idea of forevers either. So, I mean, unless it's with John, obviously. But like, I just don't like thinking I'm going to be stuck in some place forever. So
who knows?
Right now we're talking about like South Carolina, and that's
really.
Like, I love South Carolina.
What's
so
South Carolina?
This is nothing, literally nothing.
The Outer Banks?
No, that's
North
North Carolina.
Myrtle.
South Carolina, there's like a little pocket called the Golden Corner, and I don't know where I came up with it. I thought of it, something talked to me, and I was like, let's fucking go there.
7 stars in Montana sky.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so now we're like, how can we make a hat business in South Carolina? So who knows? I mean, we'll always have a home in Montana, but who knows? I have no idea. We could be in fucking Guatemala tomorrow. I don't know.
Banana hats.
Yes.
If somebody wants to buy a Cofer hat, what do they do?
Just call us or go to coferhatcompany.com. There's a little tab that is the custom hat tab, and that'll like prompt you to fill out a form to do that. Or if you just want to email us at coferhatcompany@gmail.com and just say, hey, I want a custom hat. Like, where do I start? Then
Is there like a 2% B2B discount?
No.
Yeah. Sure.
No discounts.
Plus 2%.
Plus 2%. We charge people more
if
now.
you heard it on here, then fuck you.
No, I'm down for that.
2 additional percent.
Fuck it. 10% discount if you heard it here.
Do we have our second sponsor?
Yes.
Cofer Hat Company.
Fuck yeah.
There we go.
Cofer Hat Company.
Boom.
That's $10,000.
Maybe next year.
After you pay off 10%.
Call the IRS.
No. Don't call them.
Awesome.
All right.
You
want to
wanna
wrap
bring
this
us
up?
Story, man. I don't know how to wrap this up. This has been
A good,
The
interesting
bumper
episode.
dumper is where it all ends.
Yeah.
What's up, bumper dumper?
So all things.
Good luck with the hats. This has
Thank
been a
you.
cool story.
It's been
I'm
fun.
gonna have to check
Thanks for
out the
having us
site.
on here. And
Yeah.
I wish John was here because he's a better storyteller than I
Shout
am.
out to
but
John.
Next time you guys are both in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
maybe we'll film one with both of you.
Yeah.
And get rid of this guy.
No, it's my brother. I need him here for
I'll tell you
moral
what.
support
Here for
always.
Next
moral
time we feel frisky, we'll jump and we'll come out to Montana and see how these hats
Hey,
are
we
made.
got your
On-site
cabin
in
ready for
Montana.
you.
I'll bring a wind. What is it? The Airstream. The
Airstream.
Yeah.
Airstream.
We'll bring the Airstream.
Bring the Airstream.
I'll
just
tow it.
Plug in.
You can tow it in your
I
head.
can tow it.
A Corvette.
Yeah.
With
Take
the
vet
diesel.
out there.
No, y'all are welcome always. We have a little cabin on the property, and it's yours. Has your name on
We're
it.
going on
Yep.
site.
So these episodes always get weird, and I thank you for hemming her in. She
Bumper
tried to leave
dumper.
an hour ago. Maybe it was to the bathroom. Maybe she did.
No, I think it was the bathroom.
But
She
Thank
was
you,
looking
guys.
For the
Yeah,
bumper
thanks for
dumper
coming.
or something.
It was
Thanks for having me.
appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Yes, we still call it Twitter. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.